With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day.
The Occupy the Dream movement emerged out of the Occupy Wall Street movement. After the first 30 days of Occupy Wall Street, we talked about, well, how can we bring more African Americans to be supportive and involved in the whole issue of income inequality, economic injustice, the 1% versus the 99%. My background is the civil rights movement. And when I witnessed what was going on in Lower Manhattan at the beginning of Occupy Wall Street, I immediately saw a connectivity to what we were doing in the 1960s.
The Occupy the Dream movement revitalizes, it reclaims, it republicizes this fundamental dimension of King's concern and King's teaching and his activism.
And that's what Occupy the Dream is. It is a black clergy initiative and a solidarity response to Occupy Wall Street. When we say Occupy the Dream, we're talking about Dr. King's dream, which is an American dream for economic justice and economic equality. And one of the things we're supporting now is the constitutional amendment to ban corporate dollars in the elections.
African American churches in this moment are stepping up to call attention to the issues of economic equality that have become so much part of the normal parts of our day in life that are taken for granted.
99%. Today we stand outside of the Federal Reserve Bank. Why? Because it was this institution that gave the money to AIG. This institution gave the money to Bank of America. And so we stand for the nameless and faceless people.
The whole dream of liberty, justice, pursuit of happiness for all is disappearing for a lot of people. And when it comes to minorities, we get the most disproportionate impact. African Americans are disproportionately incarcerated. It's directly related to disproportionately being in poverty.
The fact that Dr. King was concerned about economic justice, that it was so pivotal and so profoundly important to him, is lost on most commentators on King now. He was in Memphis, and he was killed in Memphis because he was there to demonstrate, to stand up and support the rights of sanitation workers.
He always felt it was important to get the victims of injustice mobilized. The victims of injustice should not be bystanders while somebody else intervenes into their victimization. You've got to get people to have the courage and the stamina and the perseverance and the sacrifice in some instances to stand up and speak truth to power.
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
We have very specific goals that we're trying to attain, very specific plans in terms of putting pressure on the government, again, around the Constitutional Amendment, working to restore Pell Grants for students because our young people can't afford to go to college, having a moratorium on foreclosures. Because of the successes of the past, we dare not allow retrenchment or backwardness or stepping back or to dismantle the progress that has been made. We ought to have a society that consigns people to opportunity, to education, to health care. All these things are not impossible, but it's the will of the people. And our job in Occupy the Dream is to stir up the will of the people.